If it gets a little too much, you can just shove them off.
No, it's not. I'm not one of those. I'm a huge fan of dogs. And this is like when one of those kids with like leukemia gets to play with a golden retriever for a little while, just to cheer him up.
It's like the anxiety dogs.
Yeah, like Reed's making me happy right now. There's a club up in New Hampshire that has like a dog that lives there.
Oh, really?
It's like I don't know if it always lives there, but they live nearby. The owners are like these old hippies, and they bring their yellow lab there all the time.
Is it distracting, like the dog wandering around during a set?
No, it's the best. It like hangs out with you the whole time. It's like it knows you're about to go on stage, so it just like sits with you, and then
as Reed licks your face.
Reed's just like checking out my whole shit. He's like smelling my. You know how dogs like they smell with their nose, so he's like, "What's up with this dude? I smell proactive. All right, he's got a little dough. Not a lot of dough, but enough to spend money on soap. They soap.
Ready to go?
Yeah, let's do it. Welcome. There you go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Ready, Set, Blow podcast. Right there clearing his throat is Will Noonan.
That's me, buddy.
Will Noonan, my
From the
man.
Pathetically podcast.
Finally here.
Thanks,
Chase
brother.
And Randy and Will together.
The trifecta.
Chase was worried.
What was he worried about?
This would never happen.
I was.
He had his doubts.
Well, Will doesn't do a lot of podcasts.
No, I do, but I can be hard to lock down. I don't like to plan more than 2 days out.
Busy man.
like
I'm not a
things.
big planner, too, so when it comes to stuff like
I'm a one day at a time type of dude. I know it's an AA thing, which I'm not in, but I do feel like that's a great way to look at life. But it can fuck you up as a comedian, because like I'll be like, I'm not even thinking about that yet.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's like, well, you should be thinking about it a little bit.
So so what you're saying is you're not a planner ahead of time, like.
No, I live in the moment, man.
Okay.
very zen of you.
So like you got me very easily because you were like, you want to do it like Thursday, which was like 2 days away. And I was like, let's do it. Like, that's easy for me because that's just like, I look at my thing, Thursday's open.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, I can fit it in.
It's perfect.
I rode a bicycle over here. Which
that's the way to get around town, man.
So nice.
I don't know if anybody else is into that, but...
Bikes rule. Bulger kind of got me into it because he's a big fan of the...
Really? I didn't know Bulger rides around on a bike.
He's big into those Hubway bicycles.
Oh, is he?
Like the...
He actually pays to rent, like he rents it and he goes and
That's
rides.
what I rode here too, because he's the one that told me about it, and I was like, I'll try it, because we both live like a block, not even a block away from each other. We live on the same block.
Oh.
And
okay.
He was like, yeah, I do this all the time sometimes, especially Laugh Boston. It's down a hill, so you don't even have to fucking pedal.
Yeah.
And you just get on this thing
Just
and ride it down to laugh, and it's fun. So I tried. It's like, sometimes it's only $1, but other times it's $8 for the whole day. And that's how I got here, and it was fun as shit.
I bought a bike. I have that's how I commute around town.
I want to do that. That's like my next step. Every time I do this, I'm like, I do this like once every month.
Everything's stepped with you.
Oh, big time.
Yeah,
dude.
it's all one minute at a time.
Everything is steps.
I can't commit to a bicycle.
Seriously, dude, I break everything down into like little steps and goals, and I make lists and I scratch things off. That's like how I live my whole life. Even on my hand right now, it says bank, and I'm looking forward to, after I leave here, I'll go to the bank, I'll cross that off.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did that really? I never thought. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I do my shit, because I'm like I'm a comedian at heart I would just sit on the couch all day, smoke weed, and look up and be like, oh, it's 7, time to go to the show. I would totally waste my whole life that way. So it's like I need to fucking
Get organized.
and keep myself on this diligent shit.
Yeah, actually, we talked about that briefly, like a little while ago. Yeah.
I used to shoot the shit all night, and it got me in trouble. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just doing bullshit got me in trouble. I was like, I need to focus. This is a job, you know what I mean? Like, as fun as fucking comedy is, and as fun as it can be, the longer you do it, the more you're like, you want to use that time to, like, get shit done instead of just socialize, because eventually you're like, you have a good social life in comedy. You're like, oh, I fucking did it. One day you're like, oh, shit, I'm friends with everyone, and I know everyone, and fuck, maybe I should just focus on being good.
Yeah, I mean,
focus on the job.
At first, it's so, I feel like the first 3 years is like, I just want to be friends with these people. I hope they just accept me into this like
Definitely.
world.
Without a doubt.
You know, and then once you're in, then you can focus on
the real shit.
being funny.
Yeah.
I guess I got to focus on making more friends.
Yeah. Well, it is a big part. It's a weird business like that. It's like a fucking mafia business, you know, where you have one good night in front of people.
That is true.
And then they're like, the next time someone goes, hey, I need an MC for this random thing, they go, oh shit, I saw Chase have a great night the other night. Call Chase Abel.
Yeah.
It's like, that's all. And then that gig leads to a year's worth of gigs. And it's like, now this one night of your life actually paid off. So the guy who's not fucked up or not
who's available
trying to
and
hit
sober.
on a waitress or whatever.
Yeah.
All those kind of things I used to do. I'm like, why is everyone fucking lapping me like crazy in this business? It's because I wasn't doing anything. I was like trying to live the rock star life like before I had any sort of where I could play guitar at all.
Someone told me.
That was a fucking gay metaphor.
I'm trying to think of which comedian told me this. He said one of the reasons why he like kind of excelled quickly was he just knew to get out of people's way.
Yeah.
Knowing how to like not stand in the way of like the operations of things. Like,
Well, you can see that with people who are older, like start when they're older, like 30 plus people. You can see that they've like done things in their life. They've like already maybe had a job or had a few relationships. Like Sam J was a person like that who she knew how to do stand up right. Didn't waste her time doing a lot of bullshit because it was like she was older. She had done some things, had some trial and error. Like I learned how to do like a lot of this shit. Like just regular life shit from stand-up because I focused so it was the first thing I ever like focused on, like worked hard on. So I was like, fuck, like a little bit at a time. Like you just try and like keep showing up and keep like taking the beatings and standing up. And it's like, holy shit, one day you wake up and you're not so bad at it. And I'm like, that's how you learn something. Like before I'd be like, I'm not fucking getting this and immediately, so fuck it, on to the next thing. And until I find whatever comes super easy. And it's like, well, nothing good. Like, you know, it's like that old story of like the samurai, like he's got to make like 1 million, you know, he's making like 1 million samurai swords before
he makes a good one or whatever.
Guy who makes the same piece of sushi over and over again, trying to make it perfect. Like, that's why I always tell newer guys, like, I'm like, all right, don't come in every week trying to show the other comics how much you can write or how clever you are, like with topical shit. Like, just get some shit 5 minutes that is okay, and then like work it. Like try something new with it every single time you go on stage. Like tweak it, change a word, change the order, change the emphasis of like different words. But it's like building. Instead of trying to build a whole town out of clay, it's like build a man out of clay, break it down, rebuild that man out of clay, break it down, rebuild it. Like do it 1,000 fucking times. It's just like basketball. Shoot 1,000 free throws before you try and work on dunking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Right,
like you
yeah.
have to do this shit. Everyone, myself included, thinks they're gonna get around it. They think they're clever enough or funny enough or cool enough. Everyone thinks they got that fucking like shining inside.
They got that Eddie Murphy gene or something.
Yeah,
They just show
but
up.
it's like there was 1 in a million fucking people are like that. 1 in a trillion.
yeah.
And even they usually are secretly hard workers. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
behind the scenes.
Really? That's
Like-
that's the truth.
They make it like seem like they're
Yeah, I mean, you even think like a guy like Dave Chappelle, you know, famously he was like, oh, he was good to see, he was a young, 19 or whatever. But
Yeah.
I remember he used to go out into Washington Square Park and do shows just on the street during the day for the public and shit.
100%.
Which is
Crazy.
It was
even
nuts. Like that's a horrible way to do it. I couldn't think of a
locally,
worse setting
like,
for comedy than in a park
Yeah.
in daylight. But you know,
But that's the thing, right? Like the more terrible situations you put yourself in as a comedian, the more you fucking
then
like,
going to the club is easy.
skin gets thicker. But locally, a good example of a guy like that is Bulger, who's like
Oh, Dan.
a lot of people think he's lazy or something, or like the shit just comes to him. Bulger writes, man. Like Bulger is the lock the door, like turn on the computer and spend like 6 hours trying to write a joke. Like from a book, he'll be reading these crazy history books. And be like, maybe I'll write a joke about the French Revolution, and then spend a long time working on that, and then at the end of it, go, no, this isn't that good, and then scrap it all.
I don't think think the consensus. I don't think people think he's lazy on stage. I think a lot of it people think like
It just comes easy to him.
it comes easy
Like
to
he's
him.
a genius. Which he
And
is.
off stage, like, they see him very like lackadaisical,
Yeah.
very comfortable in his own skin. Like, you don't really see him like everywhere.
But that's the thing. Like
I don't know.
I saw him from the outside before I was friends with him, and I used to think, I personally used to be like, oh man, everything comes easy to this guy.
Yeah, just
It's just like the jokes come easy, the gigs come easy, life is easy, And then like now I know him more, and I'm like, oh, like just like anyone. I mean, it does come easier probably to him. He's got like a brilliant mind. He says funny shit all the time.
Yeah.
But I know he writes, and like
Right.
I've written more since I've been friends with him because I'm like, this shit just doesn't happen.
If Dan's doing it, I should be doing it.
Dan's doing it. You talk like a guy like Gary Goldman. He's like putting in time
Yeah.
with the fucking pen and paper all the time. And
How much do you use it? Well, before we get into that, like, how long? Because our listeners are being introduced to you for the first time.
yes, well, they're like, this boring motherfucker. this guy says nothing funny.
We'll get into the drugs and alcohol later.
We warm up on.
Yeah, right.
We don't get right into it sometimes.
Start with serious comedy analysis.
So how long? I know how long you've been doing comedy, but tell the people how long you've been doing stand-up comedy.
11 years.
11
in my
years.
11th year.
There you go.
Congratulations, you
11.
made it. You made it. Don't you
made
get a
it
gold
through the
watch for that or
decade.
something?
Yeah.
I was super proud to get to 10 years. Like I had been looking at that. Probably from year 7, I was like, can't wait to.
If you think about it,
Say 10
not
years.
many people haven't done anything for 10 years,
No.
on a regular basis.
I think about that all the time now. I'm
You
like,
know?
especially me. Like, I'm proud of myself because I'm like, I was not the type of like,
To stick to it, yeah,
kid
comedian to stick with anything.
to anything. So like when I finally found stand up, I was happy that I was like, oh man, I like actually can like this enough and care about this enough, and I also grew up.
Right.
And, like,
And you started out in New York, right?
yeah, I was living down there. I moved down there when I was 18, like 3 months before 9/11.
Are you from here?
From here, yeah,
Okay.
from right outside the city, Milton. Which
Okay.
was, like right on the.
And you picked a lovely year to move to New York?
Nice
graduated.
area. Milton,
Lovely
very
year.
nice area.
Lovely, it is very nice.
I was gonna say if you were gonna say like
me and
Lower
Chase-
Mills and
Me and
Manhattan.
Chase made eye contact when I said Milton.
I know,
I was
Chase
like, I'm waiting for you to.
The whiter the better. Chases just love a white
waiting
culture.
for you to-
Were you waiting?
I'm waiting for you to like point out like it's a very high income area.
I wouldn't know.
But
man.
I
I'm
was
not from
raised by a Boston cop and a public school teacher.
Yeah.
here. There you go.
Well, I like.
Southie.
Well,
At least he was smart enough to go to a good school district.
it's funny that
Yeah, they were. They got us. They got the family. They saw the fucking heroin wave come. They looked out in the distance and were like, is that a heroin wave? Let's get our kids out of here.
Get the fuck out
My
of this
brother
place.
went to Harvard. My sister.
There you go.
She's doing well, and I'm back. In
And you didn't go to
Southie now.
Harvard.
Yeah, but I like we waited out that period
Yeah.
Yeah.
of horrible crime.
So 18, you were 18 when you moved to New York?
Yeah, I was just out of high school. I took the accelerated thing where it was like my education started in July
Okay.
and I didn't take. You could like a lot of colleges will give you like almost a month off for like spring break and
Yeah.
Christmas and stuff. I was like, I want this accelerated thing where I only have a week off for those holidays for the next 2 years.
Where'd you go to school?
It was an acting conservatory, which was connected.
Okay.
It's called the American Musical and Dramatic Academy.
Okay.
It's part of the New School.
Okay.
Dope.
It's part of like the actors studio shit. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So it was like it was intense, and it was like 12 hours a day. It was like a full-time job. You get in there 8:30, 9 in the morning.
There you go.
You're doing these just acting classes, only, all different types, like Shakespeare, and then like you would do like stage combat, and then you would do
Stage car. That sounds like fun.
like the brand new shit, and then work just on talking, and then movement, and all kinds of all kinds of things. It was awesome.
When you graduated 2 years, that's pretty fucking
Yeah,
dope.
and you can graduate in 2 years with this accelerated program. You can, and I was like, in my mind, I'm just like, get me out. Like, I just want to learn this shit and get to acting. You know what I mean? Like, get to being a fucking movie star.
There you go.
Start, like, snorting rails off of fucking
models and
the
everything.
Olsen twins, and let's do it, you know?
Get the headshots going. Let's get out there. Let's get the auditions
I'd
going.
done a little stuff in high school, and I'd done some auditions around here in high school and had, like, a little taste of like, the biz and professional acting. I was all about it, so I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
And it was awesome, and New York was great at that time, and I've recently been watching, like, old Sex and the Cities from that time, because that's the exact time I was there.
Okay. Early 2000s, right?
Yeah, 2000, 2001. Yeah. And it was right in my neighborhood, was where she lived, Carrie, or whatever the main chick, so it was like... So it's great to go back and look at. But, that was crazy. I was awake and on the streets during 9/11. And
nice.
It was like...
yeah.
That'll change your whole life, dude. Like, that kind of thing. Just I'm not even claiming to have some crazy story. Like, out of the millions of people in New York that day, I'm probably, like, in the bottom. You know, I was a safe distance on Manhattan. But just to be in a place where people really think... like the world is fucking ending, or like people were running around New York like a movie, like we're under attack, you know. To like be 18, I fucking thank God all the time I was 18, because if that shit happened today, with like the knowledge and everything I have, I'd be like way more scared. Luckily,
panic,
I was 18. I was like, everything's gonna be fine. Like I was smoking weed, watching CNN with like my roommate. Like, man, this is fucking nuts, huh? Like, but I just was too young and stupid to like.
That's actually right. That is weird, yeah. Because when I like found out about it, I was like sleeping, and my cousin called me. I was sleeping and he called me, like he woke me up. He was in Minnesota. He actually had to take a plane. His flight got canceled because he was coming back to New York that day. He's like, dude, are you watching this? I'm like, no, actually, I'm fucking sleeping.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, I normally would be sleeping too if I wasn't happened to be in.
I remember it was like 9 a.m., like around 9 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And he was like, we got hit, and then from there it was like,
it was spooky. My roommate was this dude from like North Carolina. It was funny. It was almost like. I just had, basically, because I was from the Northeast, I was like, it's gonna be all right. Like I had to be the guy to be like, nah, we'll take care of it up here, because he was kind of freaked.
He was freaked out.
Obviously, a lot of people were. I mean, as they should have been. Like if we didn't even know how like fucked up the country was gonna be forever.
Yeah, permanently the world for that matter.
But yeah, it was a crazy thing to live through, and it's one of those things.
Then when did you start stand up? Like how did you start when you were in college?
After that, like I was trying to do that acting thing.
You still doing some of that?
I was doing that, and I went to L.A. for I graduated from that school. I got some stuff right away, like theater stuff, like off-Broadway stuff, and I was like, fuck it, time to move to L.A. Like, did it. Like, came to New York, like, went to school, did a couple off-Broadway plays.
Got my piece of paper.
I'm going to New York City. And I had a friend from school who had moved to L.A. and, like, instantly got shit. Like, he was on this sitcom. So I was like, oh, that's how it goes.
That's how it goes, yeah.
Landon, even though he was, like, way better looking, had a way better, like, resume and shit. But he was a friend. So I go out there, and he did everything he could for me. But it was like, that's just getting you in the door. That's all anyone can do for you in this business, really. Like, even unless
still
unless you're like a producer and you're really pulling strings, your best friend could be the star of Law and Order. Yeah. But he can't like get you on unless he's
unless he's like if you're like a Will Smith or like a
even
if you're like
Will Smith has his own production company.
Yeah, exactly.
That's that's how it works.
But it's hard to do,
Yeah.
Even Will Smith might face like a fight if they don't like the guy.
If they don't like the guy, exactly. Yeah.
So he got me a bunch of meetings, and they were kind of like, and I totally get it. Looking back, like at the time, I was like, "Don't you see?"
Another 20-year-old punk.
Like, don't you see what I could be or what I am? And it's like when you look back, you're like, I was bringing nothing to the table.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I'm just walking in, going like, what do you think of this? I'm a fucking guy who's been in like nothing, and like I know you have hundreds of people.
Fresh-faced kid, just another one of those.
Another one of those in L.A.
The bodies are there's piling up in the streets of L.A. of fresh-faced kids.
So that's the one thing I like about Will. Like Will's like mad honest, yo. Like if he sees like someone with like. He does it like respectively in terms of like if he sees someone with like with no talent, he'll say like,
You have no talent.
he won't say like he doesn't have any talent, but he'll the way he'll say it is like, he's
Yeah. I'd usually
You just
like,
won't say it.
they might want to think about, like being a writer.
I'm trying to think. Will, when we man, I've known you for a while. I'm trying to think of when. I know. I remember you was at the. I remember you Middle East.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you
Met
was
a
doing.
lot of people there for the first time.
Yeah,
Mac
I think he was doing
Tona.
he was doing a set there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think I met you there. And then at the time you were rolling with Ryan Rydoon.
Oh yeah. Still
Yeah,
friends. Still friends.
So when did you get back here? So you went to L.A., New York. You started
LA,
there.
New York. Oh
Brady
yeah, I
doesn't
didn't even
care
get
how
to
we
the
met.
whole stand-up thing. So I did.
Chase brings it back to when I met him.
Ray just hops over like he's just, well, let me wear my stand up.
You skipped where he started.
Chase is like, we first met. I remember seeing you across the room.
I was trying to build a connection, but
Yeah.
fuck it now.
Randy's getting like the bio, you know.
Well, I
Yeah,
want
Randy
to
wants- yeah.
know how you got back here.
Well, so I didn't spend long in LA. Like it was towards the end of my lease, like of my first lease, and I was like, not having a good time, not getting a lot done. My grandmother was like in her 90s and she was getting sick, and I was just kind of like, fuck this all. Like I'm not a West Coast dude. So I was like, I'm going back to New York. I really loved New York, too, and especially going through 9/11. It had only been a couple years, and I'm like, I've had, you like fell in love with the city anyway.
Yeah.
I always loved New York. It was always like a dream to live there. But to go through that with everyone there, I had
Build a
this
connection.
weird feeling of like, why did I leave? So everything was telling me, come back east. So I came back here for like 2 months. I got a job in the South Bay fucking frozen fish warehouse.
There you go.
Like a real Boston. I always think I'm like, that was such a Boston, like if they made a movie about a dude
You'd
coming
be
back
there.
to Boston to make money for a couple months, that's the job. It was like that or construction. And I was like in this warehouse with all these dudes right across from the South Bay jail.
Yeah. There
you
Dudes
go.
would come right out of jail and come in and apply for a job.
That's the equivalent to like Rocky Balboa working at the meat
Yeah,
park.
It
exactly.
was just like that.
Yeah, Will was punching meat sides and
They
shit.
found out, like I kept it a secret, everything, and then I had an audition. I needed a day off, and I finally told the guy, I'm like, listen, I need this day off. And he's like, I don't know, man, I need these guys. I'm like, it's a big audition, it's for like a movie. And he's like, oh yeah? I was like, don't tell the other guys. I was like, oh yeah, no problem,
Meanwhile, it was for fucking a commercial for Caldor.
Yeah. Before I come back, like,
Caldor.
everyone's like,
Great
what's up,
reference.
Hollywood? I didn't know you were a fucking actor. I didn't know you
Hollywood.
were a fucking actor, Hollywood. And I was like, everyone was calling me, Hollywood homo and Shakespeare.
Hollywood homo.
Yo, you are so right.
Yeah.
I swear to God, just last week, because I work overnights, I have a job, like,
Yeah.
I do security, and we have like these housekeepers, and there's these two housekeepers, they're male, and they're from,
They're male.
they're
Just to clarify. I have to get picked on by women.
They're well, most housekeepers in
Yeah.
hotels are
Good
female.
point.
But these are two males, and they're from Kazakhstan, like Russian.
Kazakhstan.
Dude,
Like
I s-
Borat.
he was like,
Right?
I was exactly, and I was getting changed to go home. He was like, with a Russian accent, I can't do it, but I'll try. He was like, hey, I saw you. This is so bad.
A little cheers. I saw you.
He's like, I was like, where? He's like, Comedy Central. I know what you're up to.
I know what you're up to. I know what you're up to.
I know what you're up to.
Like a warning.
I have eyes on you, Chasable.
I was like, you didn't see me, and he gave me that look like,
Yeah. No, it's true. I remember being a secret comedian.
yeah. I'm not,
And
which I wasn't on Comedy Central, but someone told him
Someone
like
told him,
I was
yeah.
a comedian, and like he's like trying to bust my balls.
they
like,
think that's like my mechanic thinks that. Like he thinks the way a wrestler's goal is to be on WWE. He's like, yeah, Comedy Central. Like that's what a professional comedian does. You get hired by Comedy Central.
To do
Right.
shit.
I'm like, kinda.
I guess I mean, hey,
Only the ones who really get paid.
yo, a testament to Comedy Central. They
branded it. for
branded that
sure.
shit.
Yeah, but
You know?
they seem to be losing ground though. It seems like
Yeah.
Netflix is.
They've been around since like I was 5th grade.
Oh,
It was,
long
like,
time.
when Comedy
Long
Central
time.
came out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was you're big on see another Will, but he's a big WWE guy.
Yeah.
Are you?
Huge.
I was when I was young. I haven't paid attention since Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant.
Yeah, I go in and out lately of being like really into it, but I'm getting back. I've been getting back into it lately, but I do love the sport. I watch the New Japan Pro Wrestling more, which is like the Japanese style.
Okay.
Chase, that's another.
Is it like
thing.
sumo wrestling? What is that?
I like to get into weird shit. No, I mean it's just
What the fuck is that?
It's their WWE, which is it's just a little different. It's
different.
They
Smaller
call it
rings?
strong style. They do more. They hit each other harder, and it's still a fake fight, but
Okay.
it's more like they take a little bit more of a beating and to make it look more real.
Gotcha.
So
The
I
more
like
stunt
that more.
manny.
And also, one of the things I don't like about pro wrestling is the announcers.
Mean Gene Oakland.
Well, the old guys were great, but the new dudes are just like, mom. They never shut the fuck up, and they don't add anything.
I gotcha.
So I like watching it in Japanese because I don't speak Japanese. So it's just like they just keep the mood going. They're just like, that
sounds like Japanese to me, man.
And it's like I'm like, yeah, but I don't really know what's going. They're not like bumming me out
how
by
do you even
saying
get
like,
that? What channel? They should use like
Yeah,
the internet.
internet,
like,
yeah,
Jesus,
yeah.
dude. Who put you on that? Dan Baldry. That seems like a kind of weird thing
I
he'd
think
put you
Kona
onto.
put me on that way back first when I first got into it.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. The wrestling thing, I feel like it's gotten regained popularity because it's such a good distraction from
No, it's true.
the actual reality of of the world today.
Couldn't agree more. Comic books as well. There's the reason why Marvel is so popular right now too, is because it's like good will triumph over evil. That's what wrestling is about.
Yep.
It's basic shit. I'm all for that though. I think people need more like Superman in their life, you know what I mean? Like
A little more distraction, if you will.
Well, we have enough distraction, I think, but it's like people need to maybe have more hope. I think people have become too jaded and sort of, well, we live in shit and we're gonna continue to live in shit. So I'm going to make my little corner of shit town like as nice as I can. Instead of thinking like maybe we don't have to like fucking be miserable all the time. I mean, you don't have to be rich to be happy, which is that's like everyone's biggest problem right now. Is like I don't have all this stuff I want, so I can't be happy.
There is an absolute truth to that. I mean, I think that a lot of what they sell you is that desire, so that you can continue to chase. It's like, here, take this. This will make you happy. It's like, well, or buy this, or get this house. When you have this much money, you will be happy. But I don't.
Cars
I know plenty of rich people. I don't see a lot of happy ones.
Cars are where it's really apparent because like two guys can have the same commute, and they have vastly different cars. No one's the $200,000 car is not making you other than the week you buy it. It's not making anyone happier than the shit Honda that the other guy's driving. They both get you from one place to another, and it's just
They do.
You know
they
what
do.
I mean?
However,
Chase is a big car guy. Now you're bursting his fucking bubble.
No, I mean, I think if you have the money to afford things, buy whatever the fuck you want. But this idea of, and I'm guilty of it myself sometimes, of just being like, well, if I could just, I mean, it's like that in comedy. I learned it eventually in comedy. You think, if I could just do this, I'll be happy. If I could just do this, if I could just get to this level, I'll be able to chill. It's never, if you think that way, it's never going to fucking happen. You need to find a way to just like enjoy the whole
journey.
Each journey, the journey. The journey it's true, but that's like people will tune out. Like,
because it's so cliche to hear.
Cliche, but it's true. You need to enjoy each day. You need to find out a way to enjoy. Kyle Plouffe, actually, we were talking about him before.
Yeah, he's
Great.
a very
Shout out to Kyle Plouffe.
Smart fucking dude, man, and a dude who knows how to do this shit like right, and actually the dude who taught me how to really work as a comedian, like get gigs, like. But he used to say something. He taught me something like really fucking wise that I've never stopped doing since he told me, and it was immediately paid off like a month after he told me this, and I never stopped. He was like, you just need to do one thing every day to move your comedy career forward.
To move forward, right?
Whether that's writing a joke, sending an email, recording a podcast,
book a gig,
one thing every day. And he's like, that's all you need to do. And at first you're like, Oh, it's fucking like so easy. Then you're like doing it every day, and you're like, man, it's a little fucking takes a little bit of effort. Then eventually you get in the habit of doing that, and then you're like, holy shit, I'm working every weekend, and people were fucking like giving me pounds when I walk in the fucking door. Like it's.
I think it's a consistency thing. It definitely makes sense. You know, I mean, certainly, you know.
And that's really like what Plouffe was really like teaching me, and he's like a couple of years younger than me. But he was teaching. Was teaching me was like how to live your fucking life, like how to live a life, because that's all.
Yeah.
Through doing that, and immediately within like a month or and a half, I was like, shit, I'm working as much as Plouffe. Plouffe was my buddy from New York. I'm seeing him. He came up here before me and was now featuring, doing half hours. And it wasn't, that was alluring, but it was also like, shit, he's killing. Like, he's become such a better comic so fast just by going from 15 minutes to a half hour.
Right.
So I was like, I want that. And I was like, literally, like, Kyle, teach me, you know? So he's like, this is what I do. And he gave me that everyday, like, metaphor, and I was like, or, like, advice, and I was like, fucking A. I followed it, you know? I didn't, like, try and do it my way. I was like, I'm doing it the Plouffe way.
Right.
Within a month, no bullshit. You know, I'm, like, working way more. I was starting to get into the, because Plouffe was my first friend up here. He was my only friend up here when I moved up, so he would kind of introduce me to Ryan and Tobin at what is, you know, Laugh Boston now, but back then it was like Tommy. All the people I'm friends with now, Kyle introduced me to Tom Dustin, Joe List, all those guys. Kyle was like my ambassador and vouched for me like the mafia to go back, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, after a couple years, I'm like, shit, now I'm a full-time comedian, and it's all because of this advice. I was like, maybe I should do that with other shit. Fucking quitting smoking or whatever. You just do a little something every day, and before you know it. But it's funny how simple that sounds, but
hard to do.
Hard to do, and a hard like kind of lesson to learn too. You're like, wow, I wish there's something in all of our brains that just wants shit fast. We just want to fucking buy a book, read it. Yeah. Like, you ever buy a fitness book or something and you, like, put it on the table and you're like, why don't I have six-pack abs? I bought the fucking book.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
the pill solution, right? It's like, let me take this pill and it'll be all right.
It's nothing, just nothing works that way.
No, yeah.
And I can't believe I made it. It took me 30-some-odd years to fucking, like, really get that.
Yeah.
But it's like, nothing works that way, and you can try and try and try.
Can't avoid the work.
And you always see people who... You'll see these miracle people, and we build them up like lottery winners and overnight stars, and we build them up because it's like, they did it. It's like, great, but like, you won't. and if you do, you'll have other problems, and that won't be your fucking end game. Like, look at Michael Jackson, like 12 years old, conquered the world. Like, one of the most famous guys, rich, nowhere to go but down, and that was like just the beginning.
Exactly,
of
his
Michael
life.
Jackson did.
The beginning of the downfall.
But also
the rise. I mean, he got even bigger after that.
A lot of great music too.
Yeah.
But and then the downfall of all that too. But it's like, I guarantee you, I don't know a ton about Michael Jackson, but I bet he was a fucking everyday type dude and like really perfectionist and just getting a little shit done.
Oh yeah, they say there was a lot of there's plenty of documentaries you can pick to choose to see, but
the one they did right before he died was a badass.
That one was great.
He's like,
what was the name of that one?
All frail and addicted to drugs, but he's still like choreographing this fucking tour.
He's a beast.
I equate, you know, for me it's like I equate like kind of like comedy, with life and comedy to football. Yeah. It's like the game of football is about inches, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, even life, like, it's like getting better each and every day, like you said. Doing something like, you know, just getting to the end zone, but yard by yard. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, if you're starting out in comedy, like, get a 5-minute set, like, work that 5-minute set to get to, like, 10 minutes, and 10 minutes to, like, 15, and, like...
And it's like you start, like, when you get on a football team, right? First day of practice is not fucking, like... Hail Marys, guys. Like, I want to see QBs chuck it. I want to see wide receivers catch it.
Yeah, all the defensive players blitz and everybody go deep. It's like,
you don't touch a fucking ball for like the first 2 or 3
you're running
weeks.
laps
Dude, I was
for a
week. When I put
exactly.
in college,
you're like fuck.
I didn't sign up for this. I want to go Hail Marys.
In college, right? For my practice, we didn't touch a ball for 2 weeks because there's a rule of NCAA you can't touch a ball for 2 weeks until like a certain date. So it's all conditioning, and then maybe I would say 40% of the people who went out, they quit.
Yeah, because I mean that's also a good way to cut the shit. You know what I mean? Like get rid of the people who
aren't taking it seriously.
I get a piss real. Is that the bathroom right there?
No, it's right there on the right.
All right, I want to pee in there though. So is that all right?
Go for it.
There's the one on the left after the thing. There's good soap in there, and I think he still has lavender scent, which I'm a big fan of.
Jason's crazy with the lavender. What is it? Why are you so down with the lavender? Is it
It's
Is it from like your mom in childhood? Like that's what it smelled like when she would clean the sheets or something? Like what?
No,
is
hers was black mist when she.
Okay, then what is the lavender like? What's the association?
A lot of white women.
Yeah. Okay, I figured it had something to do with white people.
Yeah,
because lavender is such a white smell.
It's like
I feel like it's what It's like whenever you go to like any fancy bathroom restaurant, they have lavender in the shit. It is a really white thing.
It's So, Maine
smells like fish. Doesn't smell like lavender. It's like hotel smell.
Something I don't know. Like it's not too much. Like lavender is not too much.
Not overpowering.
It's not overpowering. It's I don't know. It's like cold.
Yeah, it's a crisp.
Crisp.
Yeah, it's a very crisp smell.
I've
never actually seen a lavender flower. They're flower. That's the type of flower.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen one of my own two eyes. I don't believe.
A lavender flower? Oh, that's interesting. I never thought.
I think lavender is a flower, isn't it?
We should look that
How
up.
fucking dumb am I? I mean, I just pull shit out of my ass. I feel like I heard that in a bar, and now it's just fact to me.
You used to have like at your old place like a Glad. Was that lavender Glad that I used to?
I still have it.
Was it lavender though? Or was it a different?
Yeah, I got lavender.
Okay. See, you know what's up. Why are you trying to?
Yeah, it's a type of flowering plant.
Lavender was like it's a flower. You guys had to look that up?
Well,
Yeah.
Well, I was pretty sure it was a flower.
Real men, huh?
I know. I'm pretty sure it was a flower.
Couple real men don't even know what lavender is.
Yeah, no
So what is
fags
that
in here.
shit? Is that some kind of shit fag smell?
I'm big on scents and
I like lavender though. I really do.
Yes. See,
You see,
Like lavender hand
hand lotion.
hand lotion. Do you have soft hands?
No, I don't.
What's going on next? You gonna ask him for a
No,
date?
I don't.
No,
I keep them. I mean, I moisturize my face. A little bit on my hands.
Okay.
I try not to because I do kind of like judge a man sometimes on his.
His hands.
If a guy's hands are too soft.
Yeah, we heard about forearms. Trish told us she judges a man on forearms.
Oh.
I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Trisha Ald said that.
Yeah, she did. She's
got some pretty nice forearms.
I know. She's been a podcast guest.
I love Trisha. She's a homie.
I like how she's a homie.
She hates that I mask it. Like I make her do. Like I'll call her Ald, and she's like, "Don't like bro me."
Oh.
And I'm like, just shut the fuck up.
Shut up, bro. Do whatever.
Shut up, you fucking dork.
The one thing I remember about
I love Trisha,
like
by the way.
one thing that Will always does when he either headlines or features at a club. I would like as I used to work the door. I was worked security, and it was like I don't know what it is. Like every time like Will would say he'll say a joke, and then would it be like it wouldn't be like a racial joke, but it would just be like it wouldn't never be racial, but he would always look at me and like he would kind of incorporate me into the show somehow.
When Chase worked at Laugh, like a lot of people might even remember this. If you've ever seen me at Laugh during that time, who were listening, like Chase would be a door guy there,
Laugh
security
Boston
guy. But it was like it was funny to me because I had known Chase for years. And it's not like I remember the day I saw you, I was like, "You working here?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was kind of like, "All right." It just seemed like out of the ordinary, but I was like, people need to make money. They need to work, Yeah. And I was like, cool, good way to like get into. It was when we weren't like there when the club was like
Very first opened.
So, yeah.
So anyway, it was like the room's big, but it was like Chase was on the left side of you, like
On the ramp,
like lit up, like on the ramp, like watching the crowd, and usually there'd always be him or another security guy there. So it's like, you're doing stand up, your buddy is right there, like, and it'd be funny because Chase, like he's not gonna like laugh at my shit if it's not funny. So it was like, I'd be like, but they don't know Chase is like my best, like like one of my good friends. You know what I mean? So it's like they don't know when I'm talking to Chase and Chase is deadpanning me. It's so funny. You know what I mean? Because they don't know that like we're actually friends.
They don't know the guy.
They know there's something. So it was just it was fun. It was good fun.
Yeah, why is he picking on the bouncer?
And it was like, but it would never be picking on. It would be more like because I'd go to him like almost for help, and he like wouldn't give it. Like I'd be
you'd be like
Chase, I'm fucking
like
the
Judge Judy. You know, he's the bailiff kind of thing.
Exactly.
Exactly
like that. I'd be like, oh, this is rough, huh? And he'd be like, sure is. You know, it was like that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
That was like year, like you know.
It was fun.
He was Ed McMahon.
Shit. And then once we got into it, after a while, it was like a go-to. Especially because I was emceeing at the beginning there, and it was like. But that's like to me. I learned early in comedy. It's like you gotta, especially in the MC spot, but in general, it's like you have to create like one thing that's never gonna happen again. I think per show. Whether it's
like that, yeah.
Whether it's making fun of like the fucking weather that's only happening right now at this moment, or some recent town story, or some waitress dropping all the drinks, whatever, something that reminds everyone that like this
You're
is
in the room
happening,
together,
like, right now, we're all in this thing together, like.
How important do you think hosting is as part of a development for a comic?
Oh my God, it's so important.
Okay.
If you're interested in like, I don't know how to even say this lately, but I feel like there's just like two types of comics now.
Okay. Oh, this is what I'm talking about.
Where there's
there we go.
There's like joke focused, like guys who want to be good guys and girls. You gotta fucking be real careful.
I know
these days. But you know what I mean when I say guys.
Right.
There's comics now who want to be great comics. They want to like write well. Like a guy like Gary Goldman, I consider to be like a great comic.
First comic I ever saw do stand up live.
You know what I'm talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Though, right? Like not maybe there's more fame. There's bigger names, but there's few people I think who garner like the respect he garners.
Yeah, he's like one
Chris
of those.
Rock would tell you. Gary Goldman, that guy can write a fucking joke.
Yeah, it's like a David Tell, kind of a thing. Like
yeah.
He's got the chops.
He's got the chops, and it's not. There's no like.
There's no
games. Certain guys I won't say.
Sure.
They're famous dudes, and they get a lot of love, but everyone knows deep down they're not that great at stand-up comedy.
Mm-hmm.
It's other things they're good at, or whatever. But like. Some people are gunning for that. They want to be good. They want to be those. I respect that personally. I respect that. But now there's a new type of thing now where it's kind of like personality comedy, where it's like I'm so fucking cute and interesting.
I don't think it's
charming.
I think it's always been there.
I'm gonna go up. It's always been there, but it's never been as like as popular, I guess, as it is now. Or whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't even want. I feel like even that's too cut and dry. But like, because there's in betweens, and I can, I can bullshit on stage and be a personality guy too. But I think it's like,
right.
I think it's funny to me how sometimes some people are like almost like, oh well, I'm not into that like joke thing. It's like, well, if you're not into the joke thing, then don't call yourself a comedian. Like call yourself an art, like a performance artist or a storyteller or whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, but like there are some basic rules here of like just in the same way, a basketball game has like a four, is a square and has like two hoops.
Yeah,
stand-up comedy has an opening, a middle, a close. Like there's an art form to this whole thing of a comedy set.
Sure.
I think there's value. I don't want to see that die. I don't want to see that part of it. That part of comedy die.
Yeah.
I do think there's room for everyone. I think there's room for people to go up there and talk about their feelings and their depression and shit. But I think it's much more interesting to watch Gary Goldman make you think about figure skating in a way you've never fucking thought of in your whole life, even though, you've seen it a million times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Goldman.
And it is funny.
Yes.
Sometimes,
I'd rather, to be honest to fucking God, I'd rather people think of me every time they saw a cookie and think candy cracker.
Yeah.
Like, that's one of my bits. I'd rather that than be on Late Night with Colbert. Like, I'd rather know deep down. Like, I have no way of knowing that, but if I could choose between the two, it would feel better for me as a comedian to occupy that space, as Gary Shandling would say, occupy space in someone's head permanently with my joke.
Yeah.
That's, I think, when someone has a joke that's so on point, you go, fuck. You'll never think of figure skating. I'll never think of figure skating again without thinking of Gary Goldman.
Well, those are the best. Well, yeah, when you hear a joke, it's like, and it's funny, and you're like, well, how did I not think of that? How did that escape me?
Yeah.
You know, like, how did it escape everyone else around me too? Yeah,
how did I not see that? It was right there.
It was right there.
That's like the brilliant moment. That's like the fucking orgasm of
It's like the Snuggie moment. It's like, what the fuck?
That's what
a blanket with a hood. Brilliant. Like, how did I not think? Fuck, how did I not think of that?
How did I not think of that? And that's like, you want to live in that zone of stand-up where you're like the best comics like Burr and Attell and Chris Rock and even like Ellen DeGeneres' old stand-up. People don't.
She was a beast.
People don't mention her a lot as
because now she's the TV person. She's the talk show person.
Her fucking stand-up was like killer. The bits and stuff, like as far as observational humor that no one was seeing.
Yeah,
I thought she was really, really, really good, and so I respect that shit. And I think if you're an MC, like that's where you learn. That's where when you're hosting, that's where you learn how to do that. Like you learn it all. It's like hosting is like the fucking, those shakes. It's like you could eat vegetables or you could like grind up all your vegetables for a week into a shake. And drink it.
Yeah.
It's like hosting is like you're getting all your vegetables in that shake, like fucking you're guzzling it because you're learning crowd work, you're learning timing, you're learning how to fucking bring them back when they're down, how to put them down when they're two up, how to like all that shit, which eventually has to become automatic, but it takes forever.
Yeah.
So you just need it over. You need to get those reps, and
it's interesting because a lot of
hosting's great. So.
It's kind of funny because like some comedians are they can be great stand-ups on stage, good joke writers.
Yeah.
But then they can't convey that same energy. Like they can't be a good host.
That's true. Like not every act
lends itself to that.
Most people can cross over.
Right.
Like even one-liner guy. I've seen guys who are like, I can't host, and I'm like, yes, you can. But then other guys, you're like, it doesn't work great. You don't want them to host. But I do think it's if you really don't have a host act, like watch the host at least.
Yeah.
Watch what he does, but because I felt like I got a lot better every time I moved up. Like I learned a lot hosting, and then I moved up to the feature spot, and now I had more time. So it was like I slowed down and like learned to kind of fuck with the crowd a little more timing wise. Mm-hmm. But when you're hosting, it's just like you're like getting it in. You know what I mean? It's like when you're hosting, it's like someone brings in a hot chick and they're like, you have 5 minutes to fuck her.
Yeah.
Like, or do whatever you want with her.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, well, boobies, pussy, ass. Like, you're just trying to get it all in.
Yeah.
And then, like.
Is that your order?
You're yeah. And then you're like fucking rushing it, and some dude's knocking on the door like, hey, man, you're 454, 455. And before you know it, they're yanking you off of her, and you never came or anything. And she's, like, bored. And that's what being a host is.
Yeah.
Like, and then the feature comes in. And he's like, hey, look at this chick with like a fucking soaking wet pussy. Sticks it in, she comes. And he's like, I'm the greatest fuck in the world. Oh my God, I did all the work here. I should be closing this thing. And then the headliner comes in and he's banging her and she likes it and everything like that. But like halfway through, she's getting tired and starting to fall asleep. And he's got to think up new moves on the spot.
Yeah.
And then he busts a nut in her and she's like, you know what? I'm tired, but I can see why you were the last one.
Yeah.
And she leaves satisfied.
That was a nice finale.
And she leaves satisfied but tired.
Yeah, there was a little more experience than the middle guy. I felt a little safer with you. I may not have been as flashy, and I may not have came as hard, but I felt loved and I felt safe the entire time.
What made you decide to do your podcast?
Oh.
Yeah, how long have you been doing that?
Super easy question.
How long have you been doing that?
Answer. Like 3 or 4 years now. It's been
how many
a
episodes
long
you in?
time. Over 200.
There you go.
I've taken a couple like long breaks. I feel like it's like a TV show where you should be allowed to once in a while take a couple months off. Like people act like if you don't put out a podcast every week, you're a fucking like piece of shit. Like they send me letters. They're like,
they actually.
Yeah, I have some rabid
Good.
diehards, and I love them. Love them.
Good.
But every now and then, I want to take some time off instead of putting out a shitty episode, but they get mad. So,
And do you announce it when you take your time?
No, I know, because I just do it as I feel like.
Yeah.
Well, maybe the announcing it would help.
No, it's bad.
Hey,
But
we're going on a 2-week hiatus.
I treat them like kind of in this weird way. I'm like, when you guys are donating a lot, I'll put out a lot of podcasts. When you guys are fucking not donating a lot, I get a little bit like, maybe I won't do one this week.
Yeah.
You know?
I enjoy. I mean, I've been listening to your podcasts. Shit. Ever
Since
I've
it
known you.
started, probably,
Yeah, I mean,
right?
yeah. So
real quick, I started it fully because Bill Burr said it was like a Bill Burr, Joe Rogan, one of those 3-hour Rogans, and Bill Burr was like, I've gotten so much better at stand-up since I started doing my podcast, and Joe Rogan was like, me too, and then I was like, no brainer.
Well, yeah, they're doing it. I should be doing it. Yeah.
The two of the fucking best guys are saying it helped them. And I really wanted what Burr had, especially, was like that, to do it alone. And be like, I was like, that seemed like a real challenge for me, but I felt like I was up for it, and I think it did. I think it made my stand up a lot better. It made me confident, a lot more confident, and to riff. And also, I got into the podcasting kind of early, so it was like I got a lot of fans from it, and a lot of like people who have listened through. But it's funny, man. Like Chase was listening since the beginning. It was like I was an MC. I used to bitch about
on the podcast.
About why can't I feature? Why can't I do this
yeah,
or that?
Angry Chase.
It's like if you go back through from episode like 40.
It's a little journal of your life.
It's a little journal of my life. It goes from I'm so mad I couldn't get a hosting spot at Dick Doherty's to like I'm nervous that Artie Lange's not returning my text. Like, that's like it goes from that to that. Like it's fucking cool,
Speaking of Artie Lange, you on the
it's a name drop.
Name dropping.
Yeah. Well, listen. Will sounds very, very cool and humble. Will's low key kind of a big deal. Like, I see him out rubbing elbows with the best of them. He was on the Artie Lange was that Artie Lange podcast you were on?
Anthony's, right?
Yeah,
Cumia's?
Anthony. Well, it's the two of them now, Artie and Anthony. I've been going on with Anthony Cumia's show. It was just called the Anthony Cumia Show before. Started going on there. Hit it off with Cumia right away, and then they ended up like teaming up after I'd been going on for a few months.
Nice.
So it became like an even bigger show. So it was like, usually in stand-up, I'm coming in at the end of shit, but for once, I was finally like in the mix at the right time. And there've been, first of all, everyone down there is like super. They have no reason. I was just there to promote a date. Like it was a club, Levity Live. They hooked it up for the first time.
Dope.
They were like, this is like how comedy works, dude. Like, all right, so years back, I actually love telling this story. I worked for this guy, Orny Adams.
Oh, fucking Orny.
From
I know Orny.
Stand-up comic, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about this. Dude,
I like
he's a character.
Definitely. But I've seen him live.
Comedians are comedians.
It's been in a documentary.
Yeah,
if you want to go see what he's like, just pick up.
I do think he's
Seinfeld's
matured
documentary
a lot since then, but he's a fucking nut.
Sure.
He's intense. But
okay.
He gave me some moves. Like he gave me some like
dancing moves. What do you mean?
He gave me. Oh, actually, how the fuck did this work? This all started with Steve Katzos and some shit, and I did that show, and then I got on a show up here, Community Auditions, which was like a TV show, local TV show. It's been on for like 50 fucking years, and it was me and Jenny Z and like someone else, and Ramiro from like 94.5 was like the host.
Freaking Puerto Rican?
Yeah, freaking Puerto Rican. So I came in second place, and it was like Jenny won and got like something. Sure. And I came in second place. I get this gig at Levity Live. I go down there. It's opening for Orny Adams. Cool, whatever.
Sure.
He's like, hey, man, you're great. Why don't you hang out, do tomorrow night, too? I'm like, awesome. I, like, book a fucking $40 hotel room in Nyack, New York, spend the night there, do the weekend with him. he introduces me to his girlfriend at the time. It was like this publicist chick, right? So I meet her. She needs some favors in Boston like a month later.
Mm-hmm.
She hits me up. I like hook her up with some people, and then now I'm friends with her and Artie. They break up. A lot of people choose one side or the other, or
that happens,
or they
right?
tell one person, I always liked you, I don't like him, but you know they're both power couple. They're both in the industry or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I'm like, it wasn't some Game of Thrones like genius move, but I was like, I like them both. I know them both pretty much the same. I'm just gonna like not change the way I deal with either one of them.
Yeah.
That's all I did.
Play neutral.
All I did.
Yeah.
Years later, like 3 years later, the girl publicist, now publicist for Levity Live, the club,
yeah,
a lot of clubs. She's like, I'm doing a Wednesday night gig at Levity Live. Normally, they would not hook up a ton of press for you for that. But it's like, she likes me from back in the day. And a lot of comedians were assholes. I found out later that a lot of comedians were dicks to her, but I wasn't. So she fucking...
By being lazy, you came out ahead. Just by not doing anything different.
By not doing it. But by just not being a dick or not trying to be
extra.
Yeah, extra.
Extra.
I go fucking... She's like, Will's a good guy, old friend, was good to me during that time. Some people were shitty.
Yeah.
She had left the business for a little while, come back. She hooks up some media for me to do, and she said, would you be interested? I was like, I've been an Anthony Cumia fan since I was like 12 years old. I would love to do that. She's like, I'll make it happen for you. So she gets me on this thing.
Good.
And then I go on, and Cumia has like these cards and these papers, and it's all there to like kill time. We talked for 2 hours. He never even touched this pile of shit. Like, we never.
Okay.
So he was like, when
was
it was
into
over, he was like, damn, man, you're a great fucking guest.
Right.
So he's like, or we hit it up. We had great chemistry or whatever. So he's like, come back any time, you know? So I'm like, fucking hey. So I go do Levity Live.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, I know. I go do Levity Live, and that goes good. But now it's like, now I'm going down to New York once a month to go on Cumia. All because of this, like, years old fucking random doing a contest, like making friends, like not being an asshole. And now I'm on that show. And so then, like, he hooks up with Artie. And now it's like...
Yeah, the show's audience doubles or whatever.
Got a way higher profile. And they're like, they call me up and they're like, we want you to come in our first week of shows and do like one of the first weeks with them. And I'm like... It was like such an honor to me. I'm like, shit, I'm not even like a big name in stand-up, but like I'm part of this show. So thank you. Like, you know what I mean? And it all kind of like, when you really trace it all back, it's to this like... To this contest type TV thing. And...
But you're not surprised though, because you have to understand. Like,
I was definitely surprised when I sit there. When I was sitting there with Jim Norton and
you got a little bit like, all right, wait a minute, I gotta get my head in the game here.
Several times. I got dizzy for a second.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta.
I was like wearing. I honestly was like, I was like, fuck. I can be kind of hard on myself all the time. And
That's what you let you enjoy. You enjoyed that one.
I can be kind of like, and I can be kind of like, you're not working hard enough, or you're not. The way I kind of keep myself motivated sometimes is to be like, you could always be doing a little bit more. You're a little bit of a lazy prick, right?
Yeah.
And I was sitting there with those guys, and I was like, in my head, I was like, I must have done something. I must have made a few right choices. Like, I had to give myself a little bit
the credit on that one.
I was like,
right,
because I really do. These are like, there's like that whole who are 5 people. Like, if there were 5 people in radio that I could do radio with, and of all time, I would choose Howard Stern, Opie and Anthony, Artie Lange, and Jim Norton.
I thought you were going to say Steve Harvey.
3 of the 5.
Yeah, Steve Harvey.
Charlemagne.
D.L. Hughley. I'm like, what?
Yeah. 3 of the 5 were there. I'm with them.
Right.
So I'm like, what the fuck? And then they're like, what? And it's always the crazy shit where they're like, Jim Norton will be at Magooby's and Will Noonan will be at and then like you're reading your dates like alongside theirs. I still feel like a 12-year-old, like as corny as that sounds. I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm one of these. You know, it ends and the mics turn off, and Artie's like, "What are you guys doing tonight?" And Jim's like, "I'm doing a spot at the Cellar," and I'm like, "I'm walking, I'm doing this, and I'm driving home, and we're all just shooting the shit." And I'm like, "I'm fucking."
Yeah.
And then Artie Lange, like, will hit me up sometimes on Twitter or text or something. I'm just like, holy shit. I mean, I think I'm glad this stuff is happening now when I'm in my 30s, because I think I would have probably been either a dick about it, or I would have not
for it in some ways,
or just expected it.
Yeah, Randy talks about that a lot.
Right? Yeah, because I'm, I've only been doing this about a year and a half, and I started when I was 32.
Yeah,
and I had a job in finance and I was making good money and all that, but any success, even making, like, if I had made $30 million when I was 25, like. I don't think I would have been able to handle that, or at least handle it appropriately the way I have now.
I would be dead. I would be that dead guy. Like,
yeah,
well, I would be that dead actor.
Or worse. What I fear most is I'd be a dick. I'd be like the guy that had the money that you always hated. Like, that guy's an asshole.
I was honestly, like, even without any fame or any money, even I got wicked into alcohol, like almost died, and I was an asshole too. So it's kind of like, well, I mean,
I'm still both of those things.
That's when I think about it. I'm like, if I had gotten like the Justin Bieber, like when people talk about Justin Bieber and stuff, like him being a dick, I'm like, of fucking course he is. Most 22-year-old men should be avoided.
Yeah, I mean, you got so much testosterone and so many bad ideas and no wisdom about life, no experience to understand the cause and effect of what you do. Like, oh, if I behave like this is what happens.
Yeah,
There's none of that.
You're still a kid with now you have a man's body and people treat you like a man, but in your
you're still 14 years old.
You're still this little idiot.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
that's what sucks about it. Because I remember getting mad about my fake ID being turned down. There was a part of me that would be like, why doesn't this fucking guy think I look 21? I so obviously look 21. And I look back, I'm like, I was such an asshole because I didn't. I see kids now who are 21 and they look like fucking children to me. You know what I mean?
You think stand-up has helped you? Like,
everything.
Grow? Yeah, it's helped you, right?
I quit drinking when I moved up to Boston, which was...
How long ago was that?
That was like a change. I was like a different person. I can't even really hang out with some of the people I knew back then because it's like they want this dude. I'm like,
I'm not him anymore.
I'm like, he's not here anymore, man. That guy.
How long has it been?
Shit. This summer will be 9 years. Next year will be 10. Yeah, so 9.
Oh wow! So almost the entire length of your stand-up career.
Almost the entire length of my Boston career.
Yeah.
I started stand-up in 2007.
She must have quit young. What, 25 or something?
26, yeah. 2007, I started, I was 24. So, yeah, 2.5 years in, I quit. 2.5 years into stand-up, I quit.
How hard were you drinking?
Oh, my God. Well,
oh my God.
to be fair, I mean, really fucking, like...
A lot.
It was like, all right, here's, like, the stages. It was, like, binge drinker. Like, which was like...
Yeah, I did that.
So I held on to that for, like, years.
The college thing,
I worked in the bar. I was a karaoke DJ. That's how I got into stand-up. Like, hosting karaoke shows. I got a job. I could not get acting work to fucking save my life. I got a job working for a company that booked, like, MCs, but not for comedy, like, for wet T-shirt contests.
Shit like that.
Beer chugging contests. I booked that as I had to audition for it and everything. And I booked it, but I was like, fuck, I'm making money talking. Awesome. You know what I mean? So then that led to a karaoke hosting job, which was like 4 hours long, but like great money. But it's like no one does karaoke when you set up that shit and start. So it takes like an hour and a half before people get in the mood.
Okay.
So I would have to get them to do it. And it was like And then I started I'd always loved stand-up, so I was like, here's my chance to kind of
break into it,
or at least try jokes on a crowd. So I was doing that. And then people would start to say, I had always had people, though, who were like, I'd have acting teachers and stuff be like, you ever think about trying stand-up? Like, you think you should, like, I think you might want to try. When I went to L.A., one of the agents I met with was like, I think you're a stand-up. And I remember being like, I look back at this, I laughed so hard because I was like, nah.
I'm an actor.
I was like, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
I think I was in the Sony lot in a fucking office telling someone, someone's telling me, I think you're a stand-up comic. And I'm going, you don't know shit. Now I'm like all about it. It's my whole career. It's my love of my life is stand-up comedy, and I'd love to be in the Sony lot talking comedy.
Talking comedy. We can set some things up on the Ready Set Bowl podcast. Like, you know what I mean? Let's call some people.
That's just life. You know what I mean? Like, I thought stand-up was like pro baseball. It was like, I love it, but I got no business being there. Like, I don't know how to even get into that or anything. And
it's weird.
And I got in, and I was 24. You know, it's funny. I still feel like I waited too long. Like, I was like, I should have started that when I was 18. Like, acting, I'd be like so much better now.
Well, that's life, right? You learn as you go. It's like, I wish I knew that then. Like, well, you weren't ready to know it then. It wasn't then. You know?
I wasn't ready to learn it. You know.
Yeah. I think
that's what it's about, right?
Yeah, you just gotta kind of let things happen. Like, just let it happen. Like, you know, can't forward. Like,
so that's how it kind of went with the drinking. It was like, I got these jobs with the bars and the karaoke and shit. So then it's like
started boozing hard.
I opened bar tab, New York City, 24 years old, 25 years old. It was in my job contract.
Free booze.
Pay for booze.
Oh.
So I'm going everywhere. And then you make friends there. Then you can go in.
Yeah, because you got drinks. Yeah.
Got the girls there. Girls there in the mix now.
Waitresses, they're also my age. My new friend group is now just a bunch of fucking alcoholics, like not teen,
20s.
20s alcoholics, right? So New York firemen, all these guys were all friends and shit, but we partied fucking hard. Like, party till you puke every night, right? So I'm living that lifestyle, and every time I kind of leave it for like a week or something, I'm like, I'd go on vacation with my friends from Boston. I'd be drinking like twice as much as them because
that's hard to do.
I'm used but I'm used to this like bar life, right? So I got kind of into that. I'd always had like a panic disorder, but all this drinking was like bringing it out. I'd be walking through Manhattan and just get hit with like these panic attacks. And it was weird for me. It wasn't like I'd be walking around all day nervous. It would just hit me like a punch in the face.
Okay.
And then I didn't know how to deal with it. So and then I got into this thing where I was like, fuck, if that happens, just do a couple shots.
Oh, no.
And then I'm over that. And in New York, it's so easy to do that. Like, we'll go in anywhere. And
so because of all the alcohol, it added on to like this panic.
It started from like a binge, and then all of a sudden the panic attacks from coming off the liquor would cause you to just be taking little nips every day here and there.
Little nips. I got my first thing. I was a month into comedy, maybe 2 months into doing mics and little shows around New York. I got on MTV, like on an MTV show, making fun of Rihanna, like when she first came out.
Sure.
And it was fucking huge opportunity. And I went to that. I was walking to that, started to fucking panic. Went into a bar, had like 2 vodka tonics, and then went to MTV and filmed for like 2 hours, like with a nice little buzz on. No one knew.
No one knew?
No one knew or anything. Like, but it was like, that was my first professional gig as a comedian. And I was like, I needed booze to get through it. And I was like, this is fucking bad. And actually, at the time, I was like, this is just how the world works. I bet fucking David Letterman has a couple cocktails before he hosts his show.
Yeah.
He's an idiot, you know?
23 think that everyone does what you're doing. So.
Exactly. So it was like this. It wasn't like this overnight thing. So let's just fast forward to a couple years of this shit. I every time I'd feel anxious, which is now like almost every day, I would drink. And then my parents had saved up. All the kids now are grown up. My parents had saved up for like a month long. They were going to spend a month in Florida, like 30 days. So they went down to Florida, and they wanted me to watch their dog. And I was like, this will be great. I'll get out of New York City. I'll go up to my parents' house in Milton. I'll fucking like dry out and sober up.
Dry out?
I did the exact opposite. As soon as they left, I started drinking. I didn't drink until they came back like 30 days later. Like, Jesus. I lost track of night and day. I didn't see another person. I didn't.
Did you?
What? You just in the house the whole time?
In the house. Other than walking my dog and shit, like, I didn't do anything.
Did you have anyone around you? Like,
Did
you have anyone around you, like your friends or like people just like anyone tell you like, listen, man, you need to like chill the fuck out?
Not a lot though, because I'd built my life with like fellow people, like people who lived like I lived. So there was like,
I see.
My work.
If they're all drunk, how would they know if you're hammered or not? Kind of a deal.
My New York friends were like like I even had a girl she was the one who got me into like, oh, if you're hungover, like just do a shot. Like if you wake up and you feel like shit, do a shot of vodka. Like it's like a hangover cure. That was really like if I had to like mark a moment, that was like the beginning of the end. That was it. Like
that was it.
Once I was like, oh, you can just drink hangovers away. It was like, like my brain was too stupid to just be like, you'll eventually die from this. So I came home. What I now know, because I've never been a depressed guy. I've never been like a can't get out of bed guy. I've been only negative like mental stuff has been like these panic attacks because my mom was kind of crazy and it's like she would have them, so it's that whole thing of
I have anxiety issues. I'm familiar.
It's very common, and
I don't have them.
I know it's a gift, man. Like, my brother doesn't have. My dad never has them, but anyway, like I don't have them now, thank God. I got over it, but it was like. So anyway, it was tough.
So you're at home, and was that rock bottom? That 30 days?
That was 100% rock bottom. Like even the dog didn't want anything to do with it.
Did your parents notice? Like what the fuck?
Well, when they came back, I mean, I had cleaned up, but they knew. Like they were like, "What the fuck," and so then I quit drinking after seeing the look on their face, and I'd made a few phone calls to like close friends when I was like in the throes of like blackouts and stuff. And it was just like the secret was I'd been able to keep all of this a secret, hidden from everyone.
Living in New York made it easy, kind of a deal.
Yeah, and now it was just out. So it was like my sister and my mom were all worried, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna quit for like a month. And then after a month, I started doing stand up again.
Mm-hmm.
Things started to get it was longer than that. It was like 6 months. Until I started doing stand-up.
I was going to say, how much time do you take off from stand-up to clean up?
It was like 6 months, but it was real slow. It was like I was going hiking every day, and it was a real tough one. I won't lie, man. Like, I went through the full alcohol withdrawal of.
Did you 12-step it at all? Like, did you AA?
Yeah, the first 90 days, I was going to AA meetings like almost every day.
Okay.
No, actually, that's not true. 3 or 4 times a week.
Nice.
They wanted me to go every day, but I was like.
It's hard.
I was like, I can't.
That'll make me want to drink every day.
I was just like, I can't make this become like a chore, or else I won't come.
Oh, you won't come, right?
Because it was already, I already had some problems with it, like not like any other religion or anything, but it was like some of the dudes, Boston AA, man, dudes are in there like, you think you got a fucking problem? I got a fucking problem. I was like, all right, I don't want to come here and fight.
Who's the bigger drunk is not what I'm trying to win.
Yeah. So there's a little bit. But I do think it's like a good program, especially like when you're all fucked up in those first couple weeks, you feel like you're the only person who's ever been this fucked up. So to go to a place where no one's looking at you weird, they're looking at you like, oh yeah, that sucks, but I've been there.
Yeah.
So it's that more than anything feels really good. I've brought a bunch of comedians to their first AA meetings because it is like, I don't know if it's for everyone or if it's for everyone for a long time, but I do think it's for everyone in those first few days to a week because you just sort of need to see the ugly side of it. And be like, you know what? Like, I don't drink like that guy out there I want to drink like. I drink like that guy at this meeting who lost everything. Like I drink more like him than I do the guy at the bar.
The guy at the bar. Yeah. That's one of the things I noticed about you. You if you do care about somebody, like if you really consider someone like a friend of yours, like you will say something to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, that guy he hasn't said anything to me yet.
Yeah, you must be all right. Well, it is because I don't want to fucking.
Like, there's plenty of like guys that like we know like a shitload of people, like, but. I know you like you try to. You're very like
not an asshole about it, but it's like I felt a little betrayed sometimes in my life.
You wish someone would help say, "Hey, stop hurting yourself, man." Or do you realize that you're hurting yourself?
Yeah, people are a little too nice and a little too. Well, he's got it. Hey, it's his life, It's like sometimes
it's none of my business.
Sometimes what you want is someone to verify the fear you secretly have. Like I was walking around thinking, "Am I drinking too much?" And if someone had said like to me. That was what really happened. I came up to Boston and I saw my real friends, and they did do that, you know. But in New York, I kind of had fake friends who were like,
Keep doing it.
Keep doing it, man. Like we're all just kind of making each other feel. I look like a lot of those people are still doing. They're still right where I left them, man.
Yeah.
Like, fucking drinking. I remember I went back after like 3 or 4 years. I was doing some stand up down there. I went back to one of the shows, karaoke shows I used to host. There was this shit-faced dude, and he came up to me trying to give me his karaoke song, like, because in his mind, I left fucking 5 minutes ago, man. He's like, "Are you working tonight? Like, what's up? Like, swear to God." I was like, "Dude, I don't work here anymore." I was like, "You haven't seen me in years."
I've been here 10 years.
Like, 3 years. In his mind, I left on a fucking last month, dude.
That's hilarious.
I swear. That's awesome. And I was like, "Fuck this!" Like, whole shit. And I feel bad. Sometimes one of those people from like that time of my life will try and reach out in a way, especially when you start doing some famous guy shit. People want to. Like,
now they're your friend again.
They're like, you know what? I miss hanging out with you.
You know.
All of a sudden, but sometimes I'm just like, it's hard. It's not necessarily like I'm afraid that anything will happen. It's like, nah. It's just like. That guy was kind of not me. It was like I would be a different dude. I would like dumb myself down. I would like be less, like I would keep my mouth shut more and just kind of like it was like high school shit. I want to be accepted. The older I got, the more I was like, I don't care if people accept me or not.
Yeah,
it's also something healthy that comes with age.
The
like,
right
fuck other people. Yeah,
the right people will. Like I don't need these people, but
yeah. Well, yeah. That's a good attitude. You know what I mean? Like, I think you're kind of like, underselling you like a little bit of yourself a little bit.
Aww.
Because like the things with you is like you also, what I've seen, by knowing you for some years, you also understand like this is a business.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you also not only are you a funny comic, but you also have like the business side in order as well. You understand both sides,
That also probably came out of not drinking though, because it was like all of a sudden I went from not drinking and then Plouffe was like do this everyday shit, and then it was like the recession was so bad. I was trying to find day jobs, like, and I couldn't find them. Like, I remember going to Emerson and trying to get a job.
You couldn't get a day job?
This
I don't
was
fucking
like,
believe
I know,
that.
I couldn't, man. Fucking white.
Nice, good-looking white guy or something. Like, get the fuck
I couldn't get
outta here.
anything during that, like, Obama recession.
That's how you know it was tough.
Don't blame Obama. I know it was coming.
I love Obama.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Yeah, no. But the recession was bad.
Strangle a baby to get Obama back in office.
Oh, they laid me
now.
off because of the recession. I
remember that shit.
Yeah,
I mean, it was bad for comedy too. It was like
it was bad for everybody.
It was bad for everything. Karaoke.
Yeah.
I mean,
did you feel it? Did you feel at your job too?
Dude, I didn't go back to business school because I kept my job.
Oh,
so I was like, I'm not leaving. I got a paying job. I cannot leave this. I'm not going anywhere.
You can. That's another.
That's crazy.
It wasn't just coming home to quit drinking too. It was like the carry. Imagine you own a bar and you're not making money. What's the first thing you're gonna cut? The dude who's getting shit faced and singing songs, fucking $300 a week. Like we went from being a huge business in New York to like fucking, I could barely pay the rent. Like,
wow.
So I was like, fuck. So I come up here. I'm moving back in with my parents, getting my shit back together, and couldn't really find a job. So I focused on comedy 100%. And by the time that recession was over, I was working 4 or 5 days a week, like paid gigs 3 days a week.
3 days a week.
And then the other shit coming in, acting work and stuff, commercials.
Yeah.
Here and little things here and there. So I was like, fuck it. Holy shit. I'm a fucking full-time comedian now. Like, it happened kind of by accident, but it was like after that I was like, all right, like I'm never gonna like let this slip back into not being my full-time job. So like I kind of was motivated to keep growing, keep making money, keep like climbing that ladder too. And fucking Kyle Plouffe again and again, he was always a little ahead of me. So I'd be like, fuck, he's making more money. Like, there's more money in featuring. There's more money in headlining. How do you headline? First of all, you got to get good. Then you got to prove yourself and get these people to see that you're good. Yeah. So it's like, that is business as much as it is creativity. So, like, I appreciate, like, you saying that because that is the kind of shit. It doesn't, like, come easy to me. I don't think it comes easy to any stand-up comedian. But it's like, you can't just, like, there's a guy in Boston who's very talented. And I think.
Thank you.
I think he can. I think he considers himself a headliner, but every now and then he'll like kind of ask me about.
Oh, that's not me.
How do I get more headlining work? Like, how do I like get headlining weekends at these clubs you headline at? And I want to be like, I don't know, go back in time like 4 years and fucking feature there and blow out the headliner when you're featuring 12 times. So they actually, I mean, there were clubs that were like, we can't feature you anymore.
Yeah.
You're making national headliners look bad.
Yeah.
Like,
That's what you hope happens.
sometimes it has to happen. Like,
Yeah.
it's not necessarily a you're so good thing.
The
It's
Dane
just
Cook
that
effect, right?
You've outgrown the feature spot. I've been doing this fucking 10, 11 years. I should
get better.
be blowing the guy who's, if the guy after me's been doing it 5
Right.
and he's a headliner, I should be better than him, you know?
Yeah.
True.
And that's what would happen. Like I'd be opening for these dudes from Vine or Guy Code or all these little fucking things, and they'd put me in to open, and they couldn't follow it. And I'm not even saying I'm fucking God's gift to comedy, but it's like I'm a professional.
Yeah, and you had a killer, 15 minutes.
It just
and
happened
you just come in-
recently. It doesn't happen often anymore, but they had it. They had this guy from Barstool Sports, very nice dude.
Oh, yeah.
Very fucking good looking and super famous with the bros and all the people who love Barstool. So he sells a lot of tickets.
Sure.
But it was like night and day, dude. It was like, I mean, he said it. We're friends now, but he was just like, I mean, it was like,
But
selling tickets doesn't make you funny.
it's like one. It was like
selling tickets does not make you funny.
pays the bills, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean you could do the show.
It
Like,
was just
you'll
like-
sell tickets, but you won't get a second show.
But this is my
like, you won't
problem.
come around
though.
again.
This is my problem with
People
this.
won't come out a second time.
This is my problem. This is the bigger question for me.
True.
This is my problem. This is the bigger question for me. The fact that when you know you're not ready to be on that main stage,
Yeah.
but you still go ahead and do it.
I don't blame anyone for that either.
I don't blame them, but
I blame when they get crazy. I
If-
think they
if
deserved it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I get the business
That's
of it.
the thing. This guy had,
You know what I'm saying?
this particular guy had a very, like, even before, like, he had told the booker of the show, like, ugh, this guy's gonna blow me out. Like, I've seen him on TV.
All right, so
He's like a smooth
Actually, you know
club
what?
comic.
Yeah.
I take that back. Actually, yeah, you're right.
Well,
I've been in those
I'd
situations.
take
I thought
it
I've been
too.
ready, and I definitely wasn't ready, and I've taken
And
opportunities.
no one's.
I don't do them anymore.
You know, people go like, "Oh man, that guy in comedy doesn't deserve it." It's like, yeah, probably not, but like that's where being an actor first helps me, I think, because I don't go like, "Oh man, like I've been doing it longer than him. I should be getting that." That's not how this fucking shit works.
Yeah, it's
Not stand-up,
yeah, it's
no.
Not anything in show business.
Just kinda happens
man.
or it doesn't,
Not in
yeah.
acting, modeling, musicians. There's a lot of guys out there who are better musicians than fucking Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez.
I'm a JB guy. Take it easy.
But it's like, do you know what I mean?
I know what you
It's
mean,
like,
though. Yeah.
It's about what the public wants and what people will pay to see. And if it's not you, it's not you. And it's one of those things where I don't go when someone young comic in their 20s does it for 2 years and they're on SNL and they're crushing it and everyone hates them. I mean, yeah, I'd love to be them, but part of me is like, that's just not that didn't happen for me, and it doesn't happen for many people. And it's like you would have done the same thing if given all the opportunities they have.
No one's going to pass on SNL if they come at you, 2 years in.
So it's like, why are you hating? You know?
I think stand-up is different, though.
Well, that's why stand-up is cool. Like, in the
like
room.
it's a meritocracy because like a sport, you can look at a guy like Chris Rock and be like, you can look at, let's not even say Chris Rock because he's like a god. We'll say a guy like
Attell.
Attell. Well, Attell's like a god
Dude,
too.
Bill Burr. He wasn't fucking overnight success until he was in his mid-40s.
Not
He's been
even
doing it for
close.
25 years at that point.
Not even close. But I'm trying to think of like someone. What's like a middle of the road like a guy like Ari Shaffir, right? Like popular, like famous, comic. Like you take him and put him up against anybody.
Recently famous. Recently.
Yeah,
in the last couple
been
years.
doing it
20
like
years.
10 or
No, like
11
18 years.
Oh, like
a long
even
time.
longer,
Yeah.
right?
He's in his mid-40s, dude.
So you take him and put him on a show
Yeah.
with a lot of these chicks in LA who are like basically actresses,
Yeah.
like repeating jokes that they've either written themselves or learned. But it's like it's just not even the same art form. It's like they're doing two totally different things.
Sure.
But I don't know. It's like no one deserves. But so that's the thing. It's like you can look at those two as a comic and be like, Ari Shafir's got a sick jump shot. Hers looks like a little kid's jump shot. Or like now I'm making it about sex and age, but it's like, do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Comedy is black and white in the sense of you either got laughs and it's funny,
yes,
or you
exactly.
didn't.
Oh, you didn't.
In the room, the audience will tell you right away who's better.
Very
period.
Clear every night. Like when you're an actor and you're in a play, you do the play. All your friends come up to you after and they go like, "Play's great. You were great. You're the best actor." That's every night. You always feel good. When you're a fucking comedian, your friends can't lie to you and be like, "Great set," when everyone knows it wasn't. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah.
When you walk off stage, it's very clear every night. There's either like when you have a great set, people tell you.
So you tell you.
They're like,
I said that shit the other week.
Like, great shit. High fives, smiling. People will do shit. All your life, people avoid eye contact. All we do is walk down the sidewalk and pretend other people aren't there. All of a sudden, they're making eye contact with you. They're trying to get in your fucking face. Yeah. They're waving, giving you a thumbs up, patting you on the back. No one else gets that at their job when they do a good job. Good shit. When you have a bad set, they won't look at you in the eyes.
You go out the back door.
They look at you like you have AIDS and it's pouring out of your skin. And if they touch you, they'll get AIDS. Like it's just like it's so obvious. And then there's that in between where it's just kind of like, cool, thanks. And everyone knows, and and there's, that's the thing. Like when you have 3 or 4 good sets in a row, and then you have like 3 or 4 killer sets, and then you have one that's like a B, you feel like you bombed because you're just like, I need that love. So that's high. That's why. High. That's why in comedy you can be like, fuck, like this chick's famous and she only has 10 minutes, but I see this guy kill all the time, and he's so good. Why isn't he where she is? It's like that's where you got to think like an actor and be like, well, he's him, she's her. That's what they want. This isn't. Next month could be the other way around. Like you just got to kind of.
Yeah, we're not really like. I think Randy's the same way. I think we don't really. We think of it as like this is not an. Another person has no bearing on like what we're doing. You know,
like some other people's happiness or other people's success. Is not detrimental to mine at all. I try to think that way. I think like Jay said, he does as well. In that,
that's what I was trying to say.
In that, it's fun to be envious and to admire somebody's success or their happiness or whatever it is they have, but to be jealous they have it. It's like I could I could get my own happiness. I don't need to steal yours to get mine.
And you're just strangling yourself.
Yeah, and
you're in a room strangling yourself,
and you start to lose advocates for you that'll help you get there, right? Because if you're like a bitter person, people don't want to be around you, and you lose people that actually help you get to that point that you want to be at.
Exactly, and you're punching yourself in the face, hoping someone else feels pain.
Exactly right.
You know what I mean? And that's like. That's another life lesson.
That's another life lesson, yeah. I think for me, like, I kind of like all the things that I kind of like. I mean, I don't think I have much, but that's the things that I do get, the opportunities that I do get, or that I make for myself. More importantly, is based on like, how I kind of just treat people.
Yep.
And I listen. And I'm paying attention to like what's going on. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I know when to kind of like strike and back off, and when to like, I'm not extra. You know what I mean?
It's
like
true though. I mean, I get a lot of. I don't know. I just recently, it's weird to be at the points in the past a year or two where like new comics, they know it's my job, so they're like, how do I make it my job? You know what I mean? They have questions.
Yes.
And it always cracks me up. There's some people who ask for advice and then talk to me. Like they'll ask me, how do I get like more work? And I'll be like, well, and then before I can get the next word out, they're like, because what I'm doing is, and what I'm trying to do is, and like blah 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 blah, and they don't let me say anything.
Yeah, they're answering the question for you before they.
I'm like, I was an idiot, but I don't think I was ever that fucking stupid, man. I'm like, don't like. When I work with Gary Goldman now, I'm a fucking like, I fucking just shut the fuck up and listen to what that dude has to say, man, because he is so smart and he knows so much about comedy that I'm just like, what do you got? It's like always a podcast where I'm interviewing him, you know? 'Cause I just want, because he says shit that just stays with me forever.
Yeah.
So I'm like, when someone's interrupted me when I'm trying to help him out, it always makes me laugh, dude. Fucking Tommy O'Deed, I'll fucking say. Fucking guy kills me. He's always like, well, I'm trying to get booked at Nick's. How do I get booked at Nick's? And I'm like, well, you gotta, cause I keep fucking calling Ryan, and he's like, well, why don't you go down? Well, cause you know, me and him, we got a show on EMF, and blah blah blah. I'm like, give me a second to tell you, you know.
I fucking
Tommy O'Deed.
Yeah. My time, yeah.
Sorry, I fucking named. That's another name drop. Slightly
It's all
less.
right.
No, it's like
Not a big name drop.
No, but more importantly, it's like, dude, it's like, you know, you're asking someone that's fucking that knows the answer.
Yeah.
It's not like you're just asking someone that's like with you. You're asking someone like who's actually there and like
who's played the gig before.
Plays the gig, knows the person who fucking books the gig, like knows the venue, like. Just shut the fuck up.
Happens all the time.
And
too.
just
Actually,
like listen, like
I did it though. One
I get
time.
fucking so
I
angry
did
when
do
people do
it.
that shit to me.
I was super excited to meet Bobcat Goldthwait.
Mm.
I was super
Oh,
excited
Bobcat,
to meet him.
yeah.
And he was like, Tony V
Have
gave me
breakfast
like
with
a very nice introduction too. Like, hey, this is Will Noonan. He's like a great,
Tony's the man.
such a nice guy.
Tony's the man.
So this is Will. He's like a good friend of mine and comic, whatever. And Bobcat was like,
Was everyone dying in Boston?
I know.
Jesus
We're
Christ, what
right
the fuck
next
is
to
going
Yeah,
on?
I know. That must have been a car accident.
Jesus.
Oh, the dog's running.
Got the zooms. But anyway, I did exactly that. Like I was like, hey, what was it like making this movie? And he was like,
You asking Tony or who you asking?
I asked Bobcat.
Oh,
Goldthwait,
Bobcat,
I was like,
yeah,
what was
sorry.
it like making?
Police Academy?
Asking him about the the fucking one with Scary Perry, the one, the prank movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's Windy City Heat. I was like, what was it like making Windy City Heat? And he started talking to me about it, and I was kind of high, and I was like, because I love this part of it. And then he gave me a look like, hey, you're talking to the director of the movie. Like, do you want me to like tell you like what happened, or do you want to interrupt me with your stupid shit? And I honest to God, I've never done it again because
I've seen so many people. Well, I've seen so many people kind of like talk them out of a gig.
Yeah.
Literally, like I've been in conversations where like there've been comics around and like they'll like talk to the booker.
Oh, I've seen that a million times too.
And they would fucking just talk themselves out of a fucking gig.
I've seen that a million times. Another one too is this is a good one. I've done this to myself, but I mean, obviously not in a long time, but I've seen this happen a million times. Comic has a great set. If you have a good set at a club, shake the booker's hand.
Go home.
Fuck out. Leave.
They get bombed and say something stupid or some shit like that.
That's the one I've seen a trillion times. The guy pulls up to the bar. He's like, I crushed it tonight. I want every girl
Party time,
here.
yeah.
I want to hang with the crowd. They end up getting hammered. It's honestly, you don't even have to say anything stupid, but they're watching that.
They're watching everything.
And they're like, wow, this guy fucking is kind of an amateur, huh? Like fucking thinks this is like I don't. How often does this happen? If he's celebrating like this, it must not happen that much.
It's not professional.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because a good comic crushes and goes like, yeah, that's my job. That's like what I'm supposed to do. It's
Yeah.
like, when you're like, holy shit, it finally happened. Let's party all night.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that happen a million times. Or they just get so fucked up. The booker's like, wow, like they were hammered last night. Like, can I trust them to not get hammered? What about the late show?
If I book him for 5 shows, is he gonna be there by gig 3, 4, and 5, or is he gonna be dead?
That's where I used to fuck myself. Like I wouldn't necessarily do anything, but I'd let them see me like bombed, like late at night, and it would be the word was out on me. Like Noonan.
Yeah.
Noonan's a drinker.
And it necessarily doesn't even have to like you're probably like I was fine.
Yeah.
Like I'm in control. I'm a focused drunk. Like
Yeah.
I can focus while I'm buzzed. There's plenty of people like that.
Plenty of people like
But
that.
to the other eye, the third party,
To them, it's their business. It's their money. Like if someone owns a club, they're not taking chances.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, well, guys, you have to be so fucking funny for it to forgive all that. Like some people are that funny.
sure there are.
That they can fuck around, but not many.
Right.
Most people, it's like you need to keep that shit in line because they just don't want, especially at the beginning when you're like an MC and a host and stuff. they're more concerned that you can get on, like keep it cool, get off, bring the next person on, just
keep the train rolling.
Keep it rolling without disaster. They're way more concerned with that than how funny you are or how good your closer and opener is. Like they just want you to get everything going without everyone fucking dying.
So what's next for you, man? What do you want to do with your career? Is this it? You podcasting or?
I got some opportunities coming up, and I don't know. I just let it happen, man. Whatever.
Do you work the road at all?
A little bit. I just try and do the Northeast.
Nice.
Go down to Pennsylvania.
You're real big on staying here.
Yeah, I do. I
heard you saying that. You don't want to.
Boston's home for you, or are you gonna?
Yeah, I wanna try and hopefully. I think there's. I mean, this sounds kind of like romantic, but I think there's a good scene here in Boston, and it could be what it once was, like as far as a comedy destination, like where people want to. I don't know if the industry will ever be here. I don't think, but I think people could come here just to see stand up.
We had Brian Glowacki on a few weeks ago, and he had the same feeling that he wants to build his.
Yeah,
this is his home base.
Him have talked about that a lot, and.
Well, explain real briefly like what it was before and how it is now. Like how was it before and like in different. What's a big difference?
It's like I feel like it would be stupid now for a guy my age to, because it's finally time for us. We're finally getting the headlining, like guys. Because there's been this old guard in Boston with who, a lot of them I love and I'm good friends with and work with to this day, but.
They've been the headliners here for 30 years.
There was a glass ceiling there that no one could get through because these guys were so good and not going anywhere. Now a lot of them are retiring and they're or slowing down, and I make full-time living here. I have a great life, and like I said on the podcast, it's an 11-year thing. I'm not I'm not looking necessarily to start all over again and move to LA and jump into all that. So I got my whole thing. I do my radio shows and I do my comedy shows and I run in and I smoke weed. And
That's right. You picked up the running now.
Yeah, I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with it.
Really?
I ate beet powder this morning.
Something's gonna pop.
Yeah, see, that's my whole.
Something's gonna pop.
When I chase, I don't.
But more important,
chase.
There you go.
When I chase. Other than Chase Abel,
I was like,
when I chase after shit, I don't intend to get it. I tend to just focus on stand up and good things happen.
You're also running a marathon here, too. No pun intended, really. But like you put 11 years of work in it. It's sort of cultivating itself now.
Yeah.
And you've built it so that you have a life here and you can work here without having a real job. So. Why upend that? And you could maybe get Insta fame in LA and then come back, or just keep building the fan base you have.
I have plenty of friends in LA who are doing all the late night spots, and they don't even make that good money.
The spot, yeah.
They don't work as much as I do, and they don't even make the same money as I do. And I'm not, and that's just from doing gigs no one's seeing. I'm not saying I'm like doing so great, but I'm out here just doing gigs in fucking New England,
and we have the internet now, so you can get famous anywhere.
Exactly.
Well, what you were saying earlier, you like. I think you were saying,
this will get us all. This will blow us all up into huge stars. This episode,
Lord willing.
Podcasts. I think for guys that are like, especially guys like you, Will, who kind of know themselves, who knows like the voice that they have, and like they're not gonna feed into like.
I get it now. Good cop, bad cop. Good cop Chase, bad cop Randy, and then dog cop Reed.
Yeah, the distraction.
Did you name him after Ken Reed?
No, my roommate named him.
Say anything funny either. So
I do want to say this though. I don't say this much about people.
I love you too, Chase.
I know.
Is that mom?
That's my mom.
This is my wake up in case.
In case you were stoned and sleeping?
Yeah. 5 o'clock? 5:30 is 2. If you sleep
bright and early at 5:30 in the afternoon.
Just in case I fall asleep, I like to wake up around 5:30.
Oh, dude, I woke up at 2:30 today. Don't worry about it.
Life of a comedian.
Dude, the best conversations I have with Will when we're like just smoking, and then he's like, this black chick that I used to talk to, like, it's
true.
I've
dated a lot of sisters. I've dated a few sisters.
Good for you.
I like to talk to Chase, and I have.
You talk to your black friend.
I've always had black friends like my whole life.
which is rare
So
in
it's
Boston.
never been
rare.
this like, this is my black friend. But it has always been like, when I get with my black friend, we talk about, like, he talks about, like,
What
white
you guys have in
chicks, and I
common.
talk about black chicks, and, like, we, like, trade info.
We trade info, bro.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the life. That's how my friendship with Corey's always been, and my college roommate David was a black dude from Chicago, and
Sure.
like it's been my whole. We traded info. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what's important.
so it's always kind of been in like Cordova, like we'll get high together, and he said something like, I met like a Cape Verdean chick, and I was like, Cape Verdean brought many a black man to his knees. And he's like, how do you know this shit? And I'm like, I don't know, man. I'm a lifetime of black friend. I was like, I know a Cape Verdean is like dangerous. I know it could kill you. You know?
Okay, so Cape
The word's out.
Cape Verdean.
Yeah. What is it?
Verdean.
Cape, yeah.
Verdean.
Cape Verdean.
Yeah, I have to add syllables. It's a white law. We have to add. We have to overcomplicate things so we can tax it more.
One time, Will bought a pair wear Nikes, and I was like, "Yo, wear the
Tongues out.
Wear the tongues out." You know, and he started rocking
you
the
go.
tongues out a little bit. Will's got a little swag to him. He's one of those. Remember the question that we had on a couple episodes before? This is maybe you can answer this as we're kind of wrapping it up. We had a question about this. Maybe you can answer this.
the black dating black women. Yeah. So we got into it on the podcast about like it's jungle fever. It's common for a black man to date a white woman, or at least that's seen as like a common jungle fever thing.
Yeah.
But it seems less common that white men date black women.
Yeah.
And there's more mystery around that. It's like, why?
That's up to that's more a question for a black woman, because I think the white men are up for it more than black women are.
Okay.
Like, because I've like, even on Tinder, right? Like, I rarely match with a black chick, even though I'm like right swiping on them
either.
a lot. I don't think it's like on a white I don't think a ton of black chicks are out there. Like,
They're not on Tinder, bro.
dying to date a
Yeah,
white
they're not
guy.
on Tinder.
They're
too.
not on Tinder.
Not on Tinder, but they're also not like dying to date white dudes.
Yeah, that's true. And is it just because they're not cool?
It might
Is
be
that
cultural too. I think it might be like bringing them home. That's not like your parents, your brothers, your sisters. Not everyone's gonna be like, hey, thanks for bringing this white dude into the family. Like,
It's a little bit more
historically,
acceptable
they've
than the other way
But
around.
it's still more or it seems to be more common. I don't know if it actually is that, or commonly acceptable that a white woman would bring a black guy home.
I will say, like, the black chicks I've dated tend to be more like.
Ratchet?
No, I was gonna say like more like playing guitar in a coffee shop type of black chick.
Like Erica Badu type chicks.
I only hooked up with like one when I lived in Harlem. I hooked up with like one like a black chick, like a hood black chick, and it was funny. I wanted to keep it going, and she like was talking to me like, don't you understand? Like you were like one night of my life, like you know what I mean? Like this, we live in different worlds, man. Like, he was totally like, yeah. I was like, come on, I'll like,
You got treated like a
teach
chick.
me how to dance, and like, I'll raise your kids.
do-rag.
Yeah. I was like, I'll take your kids to Yankee games, like it'll be great. And I was all ready to just like
Go in.
save her, like the white, like
Save her?
Because that's the thing. I was like 22.
need that
Yeah,
shit.
of course. You don't. Yeah, you're like, oh. It's
I was
gonna-
like, I know,
the
I've seen the
movies.
movie,
Like
lady.
the movies. Yeah.
White people
I
always
come
think that
in,
shit, bro.
And she was basically like,
now
"Get
I know
the-"
I don't like white people. There you go. I get it.
No,
Like,
it's totally what I thought.
now I know why black girls don't think white guys.
Chicks-
Save me. Go
chicks-
fuck yourself.
Chicks will correct you. They will correct your behavior.
Yeah,
She
saving
was
me.
like,
They
she was
didn't
like,
wait.
what are you trying to do, dude? She was like, I don't need any of this, and I don't want any of this.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, okay then. Like then I learned what like black chicks are really like, which is like they don't fucking need you or want you, and they're just like,
Yeah. Well, I think need is.
she used me.
Yeah, she's used to not doing
Yeah.
terrible men. And
But yeah, the other like
I think Will answered
you
that
got
question.
it. Yeah,
answer
white
that.
people are corny.
We actually sent an email.
and,
We asked how-
and they don't want to be saved.
Yeah.
Like,
We're
black
walking
people
around
don't want to be
acting
saved
like-
by a white guy.
yeah,
Got
like,
it.
She's like, I don't need you to save me. Like, I'm saving you from like being mugged constantly in this neighborhood. Because that was,
I'm saving you from that embarrassing outfit. I'm going to tell you to change.
but I do like, because I also love to date Spanish chicks, and they
That's most
don't
of what I
love
did.
white dudes either. Like they're not, they don't go right towards it.
Okay.
No, yeah, they're not right towards it, but they definitely
That's what I'm
think
saying.
white
I
guys
don't-
are cute.
I don't think any of these women are like, I won't date a white guy, but I think it's not top of their.
Okay.
It's not like what they like go out of the house.
It's not like white guys and Asian women. For some reason, white guys love Asian women.
It's not
Typically.
in their fantasy of like how their life. It's not in their fantasy.
Got it.
Yeah.
I can see you with a nice like Filipina.
I would love it. I would love. I love it. Honestly, I would really like. I really like.
Oh, trust me. I want to hear this.
Yeah. What are you gonna do with the?
What's Will Noonan's like prototype? You know.
Oh well, that's kind of like that's kind of basic. Like I just like blondes. I like good looking blondes.
You look like, oh, okay.
I always say I like
just
blonde
women
hair,
that breathe.
There's something about when you wake up in the morning and you roll over and you see like blonde, like you can't see anything but hair. And there's something about it when it's blonde. I like that more.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
Okay,
but
I'm not a blonde guy.
Every brunette I've dated fucking hates it when I say that. And I tend to date brunettes more often, but
yeah.
But I really dig like Spanish chicks, and they never like me back.
I don't know, man. I think you gotta.
My roommate in college, like he used to be like, dude, he was a black dude from Chicago. He used to be like, dude, he's like, you're not just a white guy. He's like, you're the white guy.
Yeah.
He's like, you're like 6 foot, blue eyes, brown hair.
Boom.
Like, your dad's a cop. You walk like a
your
fucking
mom-
cop. Like, you're a white
You walk
guy.
like a cop?
Yeah, he used to say that shit. He's like, you walk around, you look people.
You look like a fucking
you
cop.
Look around. He'd be like, you just fucking.
Yeah.
I used to be like, why don't fucking people in Harlem like me? He used to be like, well, they're
You look
never
like the
gonna like
police.
you. Like, 200 years of fucking, they're never gonna like you.
Oh, man.
They're never gonna like you.
Yeah.
Will Noonan, the white comedian.
Yeah,
There you
that's
go.
me.
Yo, man.
Thanks
you,
for
guys.
doing
This
this,
was a
man.
blast.
This is a lot of fun.
This was dope, man. And you know, I love you. So thanks for doing
That's
this.
right.
Hey, I love you too. I love
listen
both
to
of
listen to the Hypothetically podcast. You got anything to push?
Hypothetically,
Where are you this
Will
weekend?
Noonan. I'm check willnoonan.com. I got in May. I'm gonna be at like coming up in May. I got all Boston. I'm in Giggles. I'm in Nick's. Like, so it's all local stuff. I'm super excited about that.
Nice.
April, I'm all over like New England area. So just check Will Noonan.
So
WillNoonan.com.
WillNoonan.com.
Yeah, man.
My man.
I gotta get a website. You guys both have websites.
Yeah, you gotta get websites.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I gotta get an act first. And then
My guy is good. If you're a comic,
I'll worry about my act before I get to the website.
get
but-
that. Get 10 minutes, and then.
And then,
But I recommend my guy. He's on the affordable side for comedy websites. If you go to mine, and just click at the bottom.
You know what we will ask you too, probably off air. I'll ask you off air.
Yeah, we'll get the real
Yeah.
details off there. Will,
Yeah.
you're the best, man. Thanks so much. We
Thank
appreciate
you guys.
it.
My pleasure.
Please listen to it, guys. Email us at rspodcast@.
Gmail.com.
This was a great podcast.
Yes,
Thanks
it
for Will
was.
for
We'll
doing
be back. We'll be back on Wednesday as normal, as regularly scheduled. We love you guys. That was Will. I'm Randy, and that's Chase. Peace.
it. Peace.